Before I start this video, I want to thank everybody that like, comment, share, and subscribe. I see it. God see it. Blessings to you in your situations. Just in case you don't make it to the end of the video, I wanted to thank you now. Thank you. And I mean that.
That took our school photos is in the Epstein files. This is really the definition of every single thing is fucking connected. I'm gonna be very honest, this is the last thing I expected. And it's this.
I expected it. I always knew. I've been knowing that these people was evil and sick. I knew that they was cannibals all the way when the towers fell. Yeah, 2001. I knew that these people was sick.
Disgusting because children were literally getting preyed on every single step of the way. Teachers, parents, and maybe even the school faculty had no clue that they were putting children in this type of danger.
A lot of the principals, teachers, the faculty, even parents, they knew. They knew. That's why it wasn't reported. Because these bastards knew. Everybody knew except for us. Now we know.
It's sick because children really cannot do anything without being preyed upon or sexualized. This genuinely has me rethinking every single small brand ever involved in our childhoods. Because tell me right now you guys expected that. Obviously after hearing it, it's not shocking, but I would have never guessed this. If life touches the brand taking your children's school photos, cut that shit out immediately. Cut out Chuck E. Cheese, Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret, all that shit is all involved. We literally need to stand together at a time like this because everything being released keeps getting sicker and sicker and sicker. When are we really gonna plan a mass protest where every single state is doing it? We can't just have it happening in one place at a time. No, everybody needs to do something at the same exact time so they can understand the strength in numbers. It's not a little group here and a little group here.
I think I just made a very serious connection in the Epstein files, and I really feel like this information needs to go as public as it possibly can. This is an email to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? As you can see here, I just spoke to Miss Danielle this morning from Piney Woods. She said I would need to be at the school first thing Monday morning, January 14th, 2019, to sign papers, go over checklists, and to discuss tuition and other rules and regulations. Piney Woods is a historic African-American boarding school, okay? It was founded in 1909 in Rankin County. And for those of you living in Mississippi, I'm sure you're aware of what Rankin County consists of. Now let's hold on and rewind just a little bit because it seems to be that Jeffrey has been doing this for quite some time. This email is from 2012. Jeffrey, this got away from me. I forgot to present this for your approval. Taylor's final tuition for Syracuse is due tomorrow, December 9th. $22,310, which includes her scholarship discounts. She graduates in May. Also, Brooke's tuition from Millsap College, Jackson, Mississippi is due December 15th. Hers is $10,300. Brooke is on. May I have your approval for a loan to cover both amounts? I will arrive at 12:30 p.m. at 71st for stereo work today. Thank you, Larry, aka Larry Summer. But like I said, this seems to have been going on for quite some time. This is an email from 2018. Subject, Anna and girls, college and boarding. Hi, Leslie. I hope all is well with you and your family. Obviously talking to Leslie Groff. Going forward, Bella asked that I go to you for airline purchases for myself and my girls. Here's another email that was sent to Anna. And as you can see, it seems to be that they have consistently gone to the island throughout many, many years. A lot of people might not be surprised how many women went to the island. Not even that I would consider them to be women, but we're talking about teachers, professors, universities that were literally preying on these young women. If anybody has the audacity to try to find an excuse for this shit or say that they're fucking making it up, I'll be in your DMs. How about that? I think
One thing we will not fucking accept in this fucking country is the murder, the killing, and the trafficking of fucking children. I don't care what the fuck you do. I don't care if it's black, blue, white, green.
You see, this is that justified anger that I'm talking about. Nah, they're not going to arrest all of these monsters because if they arrest all of the monsters, they'll be arresting all of them. Damn near all of the entertainers, all of the athletes, all of the politicians, the Pope, everybody that surround the Pope, all of the billionaires, they would have to arrest all of them. So what's going to happen is this anger is going to just keep brewing in us as we start reading all of these files and we start getting the images of what they did to the innocent. I'm telling you, this is why they're going to have to head to the hills. This is why they're making bunkers. They're not making bunkers for no damn aliens. They're making bunkers for us. They're making bunkers for us. I could feel it in me. When you start seeing who was involved in this and what they used to eat and what they used to drink and who they used to beat and break, you're not going to want to take it no more. Everybody is going to start feeling like this. All of the real ones is going to start feeling like this. A feeling of, look, either they got to go or I got to go. And I'm not planning on going nowhere. I just can't picture living on the same planet as these rat bastards no more. You see, this that justified anger that everybody's going to get. They're not going to be able to come out in public no more.
Children is off limits. And if you feel motherfucking uncomfortable about anything I'm fucking saying right now, you're the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem.
America, Epstein protest. So I'm just gonna have to say this, but I think it's time that we start a nationwide, if not worldwide, protest against what happened in the Epstein files. And when I mean a protest, I mean a good old round 'em up protest. I've seen a lot of people, even our president, tell us just to ignore it. I've seen the elite billionaires just hoping it'll go away. And I've seen the news agencies barely talking about this shit. It's like everybody just wants years and years of this just to disappear from public view. Well, I don't want it to fucking disappear from public view. I want protests nation and worldwide over these elite fucking murderers and pedos. You can go protest ICE, you can protest for abortion, protest for women's rights, protest for Ukraine, but you can't protest to arrest some goddamn child molesters. Now you listen to me.
This is the guy that bought Epstein's Island. That's what they're saying. Stephen Deckoff. And here is what it says. The private islands that were a nexus in Jeffrey Epstein's depraved abuse and trafficking of young women and underage girls will be turned into a resort destination by a U.S. billionaire. I wouldn't go. Great St. James and Little St. James have been in limbo since Epstein's death in 2019. Financier, there's that word again. Remember what Jeffrey was? A financier. That's what they all say, right? Says here, financier Stephen Deckoff paid $60 million for Great St. James and Little St. James through his SD investment firm. Deckoff is the founder of Black Diamond Capital Management. And here's what it says about him. He does not have a Wikipedia. Neither did Jeffrey at first. Stephen Deckoff founded Black Diamond Capital Management, which manages $10 billion in assets. Prior to launching Black Diamond in 1995, Deckoff worked his way. Who else would have ever guessed that vampires are going to be so mainstream in 2026? These things age forwards and backwards. They can pick any little age they want to be. This is why, like, when we see old pictures of, like, the 1800s version of Matthew McConaughey, they look so much alike because it's the same person. The reason they're out here eating the babies and saying they taste like cream cheese is because they can ingest human blood. We can't. You know, there were a certain group of people that were in Russia, you know, back when it was the USSR, even before then, who kept getting pushed out of everywhere they would go because, I don't know, the kids kept coming up missing.
So let me talk about the fruit of knowledge real quick. You see this picture? It comes from the TV show Fringe. This is an apple, and the seeds are a human fetus. Right there. It's the story in this right here. This is what Adam and Eve was eating. This is the fruit of knowledge. What's the definition of knowledge? The definition of knowledge is facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. A monkey has no knowledge. A snail, an elephant has no knowledge. But Dr. Phil Valentine, he has knowledge. A mechanic has knowledge. A plumber has knowledge. The knowledge of electricity. Electrician has that. Bodybuilding. Ronnie Coleman has the knowledge of bodybuilding, the carb cutting, how much protein you need. Facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. So when Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden, which was the first Epstein's island, the Garden of Eden, they was eating this right here that's on the screen. These type of apples. These type of apples. You see what I'm saying? In Deuteronomy 32:10, Deuteronomy 32:10 describes God guarding his people in the wilderness as what? The apple of his eye. Right? In Genesis 1:28, the Most High told Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. Right? In Matthew 7:15 through 20, it says, you will know them by their fruit. Every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. So don't look at me weird when I say that the fruit, man, it's this Bible say that we fruit and trees and apples of God eye all throughout the Bible, man. Yes, it was a ritual. The Most High said, y'all can eat anything. Just don't eat your babies. It was always about eating the babies. Like I said, the Garden of Eden was the first Epstein Island. This was a place that the entities used to feed. And what did Adam and Eve get in return? The same thing that Jay-Z and them get. The same thing that the athletes get. All of the gifts and the talents, all, man, they get to see. They get to see into the spiritual realm. They get to see all of the codes and the programs and the tactics. All they have to do is continue to perform the ritual. Look, the ritual been going on. When you reading Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit, you're reading this Epstein files, man.
So people just coming to a realization that this motherfucking world is ran by demonic entities. Cause only a demonic motherfucker will eat a motherfucking baby. You heard it. You heard it. You saw the shit. These motherfuckers said that babies taste like cream cheese, dog. Like, I don't know about it. That's why I hate the motherfucking internet and social media. That's why I only post and get the fuck off the motherfucker, because people are going to work. People are living life like ain't shit happened. Like, this some normal shit. Shit that we've been talking about for decades. And now all this shit coming out. Motherfuckers ain't getting arrested. Nothing. The news ain't talking about shit. Y'all talking about bullshit. Everybody posting on Facebook and Instagram talking about a bunch of bullshit.
It just shows you how many NPCs we are surrounded by. Look, I'm not expecting none of them to go to jail. And if I don't see them go to jail, I'm not going to get upset. I'm waiting for that anger. It's brewing. I'm watching videos. Look, this just might end racism. Because people are going to realize that it wasn't just white people up in there. It wasn't just black. Man, it was Chinese. It was all of the leaders of the world, man. You can't just point fingers at the white man and the Chinese. It was the Africans. It was the Arabs. It was all of them billionaires around the world on Epstein Island. And the food in the piñatas. I'm going to just say the food in the piñatas. The food in the piñatas was of all races. It was Mexican food, it was Chinese food, it was African food, it was black piñatas and white piñatas. It was red-headed piñatas. You know what I'm talking about. You hear what I'm saying? This Epstein file stuff is going to change the world because it's going to go all the way back. Man, it didn't just start with Epstein. He just took over the company. And it didn't start with the person who handed him the keys. He was just the manager of this fantasy island shit, man. People don't care because they NPCs. And if they care, they're going to have to wake up out of this illusion. And this illusion feeds they ass.
All day, every day. Motherfucker, they are eating babies. They're doing human sacrifices. Blood rituals. Fucking with people's DNA. And you motherfuckers just posting memes all day. This is bullshit.
So if you haven't noticed, they're trying massive distractions with the Epstein files right now. Every single social media platform I go on is like the second or third video. So I'm going to play a clip for you now. And it's got Jeffrey Epstein in. And it's something that come out in the files. And I want you to be really, really real with yourself when you watch this. Because these next few years, we're really going to have to use our discernment and not just trust what our eyes see and what our ears hear. Be honest with yourself when I play this next clip. Pretend you didn't know who this man was. Pretend you didn't know about all of the vile things he'd done. Now, would you really see a predator in this clip? Or would you just see a very intelligent man who knows a lot more about the universe than most people? Because the thing that is going to shock everybody is that the people that do these vile, horrible things are mostly very, very intelligent people. And you think if they're releasing things on him, he was just the puppet. What else is going on behind the scenes? And also a lot of them play both sides. You're seeing celebrities come out talking about child ritual abuse is real and all of this stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean they're innocent. So you're going to have to really start looking with your gut feelings. So watch this video clip and be honest with yourself. If you didn't know who this man was, would you really see him as a predator or just a very intelligent man? Watch it a couple of times and don't just use your eyes and ears, use your gut as well whilst you're looking at it. And then I'll say something at the end.
Some of the mathematicians, and again, mathematicians often break into two categories. People that solve problems, those are more like geometers in the old days, just problem solvers. And then there's thinkers, theoreticians. They're more like the old movement towards philosophy. But neither one of those two groups have been able to figure out why something is alive as opposed to something that's not alive. No one's been able to describe what the soul is, but we all know it exists. And I think what we need is a new, science is a bad word. I think science only describes the things we already know about the physical world. In fact, there's an argument that the physical world that we see has been created out of our systems of mathematics. Mathematics, everyone knows mathematics describes the physical world much greater than it should, unless my view, the physical world really comes out of conscious beings that have mathematics. So they create it. This table appears to you and I to be solid. To a bat, because we have light that's bouncing off the table into our eyes, it appears solid. If instead of eyes that responded to wavelengths of visual light, Our eyes responded to radio.
This is the first time I'm listening to him talk. I mean, I heard his voice before, but I'm saying talk like this. And for a couple of seconds, I put my guard down. Now, I don't put my guard down easily, man. I'm sitting up here watching this video right here, right now, as I record it, and I start sinking into his words. This is very dangerous, man. This is why discernment is very important, man. Because me, Wormwood, is sitting up here right now getting hypnotized by the reptile. I told you that these serpent seeds, they'll rock you to sleep, man. And they have a lot of information. You hear what I'm saying?
The radio frequencies, it's not different. It's the same type of frequency as light, but different speeds. The table's invisible. We know that our phone works in this room. So the waves are coming through the windows. The waves are coming through the walls. So the walls are invisible to that type of radiation, that type of energy. The walls are, I can see them because my eyes, a physical system determines that the walls are there.
You, with Murray Geldman, you founded, or were the original donor, and had the idea of Santa Fe Institute. In 10 or 15 years later, that effort to study the complexity of systems mathematically.
Yes. It's a total failure. Yes.
A total failure.
Total failure.
Why is that?
It's the failure of science because, in fact, if to some extent science doesn't describe romance. I don't know why I'm attracted to somebody. I don't know. People are attracted to each other, and everyone has the same feeling. They've seen someone walk in the room, and they said, "Oh, that person gives me a creepy feeling." Science has tried to describe. Science doesn't describe what creepy feelings means. They just know it's a creepy feeling. I think women, as I said the last time, have an intuitive sense. What is intuitive? They have intuition, they have feelings, and they're able to deal in the realm of things that men, especially men like myself, find unexplainable. They have...
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't teach a class before, have lectures. Did he write a book? Do we have any more videos? Because I could listen to this shit all day. Now, I wouldn't go to the island. And I think they need to hang him by his balls. But I didn't know that he was on this level because I'm feeling this. I'm feeling what he's saying. Right here, right now. I'm feeling this video right here, right now. All the Epstein files and stuff, they need to skin him. I think that he's alive. I think that he's alive and he's giving up all of the information. But to who? But to who? Because the people that would be investigating it would already know, right? Because even the Pope was in on this shit, right? Queen Elizabeth. I mean, everybody that's the head of this demonic, satanic world was in on it. So who would he be giving information to? Who would he be giving information to? What if it's some heavenly CIA agents running around talking to these people, interviewing these people, interrogating these people? I'm talking about the real CIA from the Most High, the real FBI. The ones that they are afraid of, the ones that could appear and disappear, the ones that can come into their dream and be like, well, you gotta go. And they wake up the next day and something happened. I mean, who would he be giving all of the information to if he is alive? Or who would it be? I don't know.
Women have intuition. Men see things a bit differently. Men want to measure everything. Women are not really that interested in measuring.
In what you're saying in macro terms, you actually think science, mathematics, maybe ultimately technology is moving to that more intuitive?
I think science and math are old-fashioned. And unfortunately, people are still taught that they have to learn algebra in school and certain things in school, as opposed to learning to have an emotion.
Is this what Larry Summers was trying to get at? Maybe he didn't say it perfectly enough, but what he was trying to get to in that system, the systems we study today, the way mathematics is either taught or understood, that women just haven't gotten up to the highest realms of engineering or physics or mathematics because of that, and you're actually implying that there's a either new branch of science, or we've hit an inflection point like in Newton that's going to go in a Newton took mankind in a different direction because he was able to measure. Then you had subatomic, non-Newtonian physics later. Are you saying that you think there's another developing field that's coming up that may take us, I don't know how many decades to get our hands around, but that's what's evolving out of this?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I think that mathematics, it's not the end of science. Every year someone says it's the end of, we can't discover everything. There's lots to discover with relationship to the physical world, but we know a lot already. In respect to the unexplainable world, we almost know nothing. Women, again, sense it. And instead of Larry Summers, I won't digress too much, but Howard Gardner early on said, there's not one form of intelligence. It's not mathematical intelligence. There's emotional intelligence. There's kinesthetic intelligence. There's this argument that I reject that black people are less intelligent than white people. It's not true. We know, for example, that if I was in the forest and I had to run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten because they have the intelligence to deal with their local environment. So it's just different. It's not better, it's not worse, but there's many differences amongst different types of people. And so people have different intelligences, and they excel in some intelligences usually and less so in others.